You're listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast, hosted by Zach Bechtold and Matt Franks. If you'd like to learn more about the Bearded Theologians, you can go online at beardedtheologians.com, where we have past podcasts, blogs, and a couple items for sale. So check us out, beardedtheologians.com. Thank you for listening, and enjoy this week's show. So you're listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast, hosted by Matt Franks
and Zach Bechtold.
So this week on the podcast, it's Advent, and it's the best time of the year as we prepare for the birth of Jesus, our Lord and Savior. I love this year, and I know like music tends to be like a central focus of this season. And sometimes we get some confusion in this, that there's Advent hymns that are beautiful that prepare us for Christmas, and then there's Christmas hymns, and a lot of times the Advent hymns get overlooked because we want those Christmas hymns that make us feel good, but yet these Advent hymns that we have are so powerful to help us get ready for the season, that it really is about the season of Advent as preparation and centering us and getting us ready for the birth of Christ. And then like those Christmas hymns are for the after. It's and so for today, we're going to talk about our favorite Advent hymns. And so Zach, as you think about your favorite Advent hymns, which is the first one that comes to your mind?
Well, really, it's the first and the only. I tend to be on the train of just any of the music that's good through this season. Let's sing it. I do like the practice of preparing and doing the Advent things, but you'll find that in weeks 3 and 4 of Advent, we begin to switch to more Christmassy songs, because there's not a ton of Advent songs that speak to me, and so I just go from there. But I think my favorite, what signifies this season of Advent for me in the beginning of it, or really just all of it, is O Come, Emmanuel. It's one of those songs that when I hear it, whether it's one person singing or a full choir, I hear the full choir. It's just one I could sit anywhere and listen to it anyway. It's just one of those hymns that speaks to me, both musically and theologically, and just it makes my heart happy when I hear that song, and it helps me prepare throughout the Advent season. And I find myself really year after year, the more I can use it in calls to worship, or just singing it, or using it as a responsive hymn to anything that we do in a service leading into Christmas Eve, and especially during the Christmas Eve service, I try to incorporate it as much as possible. And it's just one of those. It's a fun song.
So what's your favorite verse in the like 90 verses that they have in the song?
There are 7 verses and 7 antiphons. That's not a word I know. I didn't pay for that one in seminary, so I couldn't tell you what it means. They're just readings. Really, it's not even a chorus. It's the refrain. Or it's not a verse. It's the refrain. It's the chorus. The rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. There's just something that's so soothing about that. I almost always point back to the refrain or the chorus of it as well. It's another one of those that the verses are great, but it's that centering moment of the refrain that really brings it home for me.
For me, actually, I really like verse 4, because it's just that calling of, just the fall of like the real leaders for the real leader. And that line, all peoples on thy mercy call, just, I don't know. And like the whole hymn is like, it's a great hymn. Like, I mean,
it's a solid hymn.
Like, when we threw this out there, you said that one, and I'm going to talk about mine, and like, man, those are like, I use these are the ones I use every year. They're powerful. And you're right. The rejoice, like, we've not had our organist so far. Now we're going to have her this week, but like hearing her play it the other day, I was like, oh, it's Advent. Yes, we are here. It has arrived. Not that, what Judy did on the piano was great. She really did a good job of it, but man, like something on the organ, like you have to, like, it's one of those, like, if you have an organ and you have someone that plays it, like this one has to be on the organ. You
Oh, it
cannot.
is. Yeah. Well, because you get that choir of angels feel, right?
Yeah.
You get that, oh, it's full, No, there's not a bad way you can do it by any means, but this is one of those pieces absolutely on the organ, and just full and big and bold. Yeah,
and this is a
song. It'll birth baby Jesus right there.
Now, and this is a song that, like, this is an Advent hymn that, like, really, like, it, you're right, the fullness of it, like and there's music that we hear that is powerful, and it may not be the words, but it's the music, and the music of the hymn is what, like, it just makes you feel full.
It does. And this is one of those that even on the piano, on a guitar, on a clarinet or a trumpet or a saxophone, whatever you play it on, it has that fullness no matter where, even if it's just a cappella, right? There's a fullness to it.
I'd push back on that. I don't think it'd sound good on a kazoo. I'm just
saying. I disagree.
I don't think it had the same feel.
You'll get a recording later today.
Good. That's what I expect. Now,
kazoo and harmonica. That's kazoo and harmonica you're getting.
Gosh, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Maybe that's what we need to do. We should practice that and put that as a sub video sometime.
There you go.
Maybe we'll work towards that for next year's Advent season.
There you go. Well, Matt, what's your favorite hymn?
So for me, and this just shows you how Wesleyan I am. It's the Charles Wesley hymn, "Come Thou Long Expected Jesus." This one drives my wife nuts because I use it every year, and I use it. It's played every Sunday of Advent in some way, shape, or form because it's powerful for me. That first line, "Come thou long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free. From our fears and sins release us. Let us find our rest in thee." Man, when I hear that, like that first Sunday of Advent when we're playing it, like it gets me ready. It gets me excited and gets me ready. And it's one of those hymns that, like, and I didn't I want to say this, I didn't grow up in the church. So like, I didn't grow up with Advent. I didn't grow up with like the Christmas music time. Like, now granted, I will say that, like, the amount of Christmas albums that my mother had bought and that we had to figure out what to do with after she passed, like, there were quite a few. And I think I definitely still have a lot of those CDs laying around in my house because, my mom, made us appreciate Christmas. Like, we were forced to appreciate Christmas music, all sorts of Christmas music. I can definitely live without the Barry Manilow Christmas album.
Oh, boo. That's a phenomenal album.
You haven't listened to it on repeat for like 20 years. So
I disagree.
But, for me, when I started in the church and the very first time I heard this song, it hit me right, and it got me centered, and it gets me focused. And even still today, I mean, we're talking 21 years later, it's still every year hits me. And so, like, this year for the service, it's part of our instead of doing a doxology, the first verse is the doxology for Christmas, because I feel like, one, it gets me into the sermon because I'm it's usually right after the sermon, doxology and the sermon, and so like it gets me, like, I'm just like, it kind of focuses me, and
I do the same thing with O Come, Emmanuel. I use that as a doxology at times, or just a transitional piece. But you talk about, this hit me for the first time 21 years ago, and I still use it. It still resonates with me now. There's a reason why this song was written in 1744, and we still include it, and we still sing it, and it's still prominent, because it's a dang good song, and it does that. That's the thing about music that resonates with us as people. When it's done well, and it's done with heart and soul, and it's meaningful, it hangs around, and it becomes those staples, and it becomes those fixtures. Not that we can't ever not have them, right? But they do this thing that centers us, whether it's hymns or like, say, those Christmas albums that your mom had, just having those present, right? There's something that just about the presence of those that bring you close. And then you pop one into the CD player. Now, kids, a CD player is one of those. It's that thing that's in your car that you never use. But
Actually,
it's
yeah,
it's
most
in
new
those
cars
moments,
don't have
right?
those.
They don't have those anymore, right? They're just it's all Bluetooth.
Well, so for me, like one of my favorite recordings of this is from Page CXVI and the way that she does it. And then I like, if I had to rate them, it'd be Page CXVI, and then the Gentle Wolves have a recording of it too. That's really, really good. I mean, there's all sorts of, everybody, and it's a standard hymn. Like it's a standard song that like if you're gonna have a Christmas album, like especially if you're a Christian artist, like if you're doing like if you're a Christian artist, you're doing like, you gotta like, this is one that I feel like you have to have on your deal. Like
you're gonna have both of these, right?
Yeah, both of these. I think these are
gonna be on there.
Like if you don't sing this one for your Christmas album, I'm not gonna buy it.
When Snoop Dogg puts out a Christmas album, it's gonna include these two songs. That's just what it's gonna be.
Man, that would be. I would buy that album.
Oh, 100%. But that's so the radio station that I listen to here in town, they've been playing Christmas music for a few weeks now. And both of these songs come through the rotation, and I think there's something really, really important about that. And it's not a Christian radio station, it's just the local pop station. But there's something, even for people who don't go to church, even for people who God's not their thing, when these Christmas hymns and Christmas songs come around in the rotation, they're important. They bring us back to a time where with family, with all of those things, and yet they tell a story. They share the gospel. They share this love and grace in such a way that transcends just about anything. And they don't always come from our sanctuaries, right? And I think that's a really good thing and a really powerful thing to remember about our music.
Well, and I think it's a good place to land, and we want to encourage you to like share with us what your favorite Advent hymn is. And I think it'd be really good to have that conversation. You can do that through all of our social medias.
Ooh. And if they're different or whatever, you share a YouTube link, share the video on our page.
Share a video on our page. We'd love to see that. And we want to encourage you for the Christmas season to, if you need to get a great Christmas gift, go to our website. We've got a lot of great stuff up. I just finished designing a Christmas ornament that
great's a stretch.
Great for us. So the bar is very low. We encourage you to, like, if you need a gift for your pastor or somebody that loves theology, it'd be a great gift to share, whether it's the Christmas ornament that we're about to release, or the mugs, or the t-shirts, or whatever it is. Like, they're great little gifts to give to people who are in this kind of field. And so I encourage you to do that. Listen to our old podcasts and stuff. Man, we've got some great content. I was looking through our almost over 200, almost close to 275. We are inching on close to 275. And as we're inching close to that, I was doing some things, and man, we have a lot of great episodes we'd encourage you to just go back and listen to.
That's well over, and at 52 episodes a year.
Yeah. And so, encourage you to do that and listen to that. And so for the Bearded Theologians, I'm Matt Franks.
I'm Zach Bechtold, and my first Blackberry was named Blackberry Manilow.
First, guys, I want you to subscribe and like this video and push that thumbs up.
Thank you for listening to the Bearded Theologians podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all social media outlets. You can check out old episodes and more information at beardedtheologians.com. Thanks for checking us out.